Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Alexis Bay Yoga. I'm so very glad that you've decided to join me today. Our practice today will be a beginner's flow where we will be seated the entire practice. So we can do this practice on your bed, your couch, in an upright chair, or just on our mats on the floor. Now, if that sounds good to you, go ahead and roll out your mat or find your comfy, cozy place, and we'll flow right into it. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another week of yoga. Stay firm. Sending that right foot back. Now, we'll start by finding our comfortable, easy seat. That can be with our legs crossed out in front of us, or with our feet down on the floor and our knees bent in our chair. We'll start by closing our eyes and taking a few deep breaths here as we get used to being in this space in our bodies and in our practice. We'll bring more awareness to our breath. Maybe allowing the breath to be a little deeper than it normally is. Fully filling the lungs and the abdomen with air before letting that breath go again. Now for our next 3 breaths. With our in-breath, we're going to squish the shoulders up to the ears, maybe even squish the face in towards the nose. We can even form fists with the hands, breathing in, squishing. And with our exhale, we'll let it all go. Let the shoulders drop. Press the breath out. We'll do that 2 more times. Breathing in through the nose. Squishing everything up, adding more tension to the shoulders, the neck, the face. And with our exhale, pressing the breath out, letting it go. 1 more time. In through the nose. And with a big breath out, letting the body soften. Drawing the shoulders back and down the spine. If we opened our eyes, we can close them again. And come back to our more neutral breath pattern. Pressing down into our sit bones to help us sit tall through the spine. Noticing the areas where your body connects to the floor beneath you. Maybe even wiggling the toes. With our next in-breath, we can open the eyes as we circle the arms up towards the ceiling, reaching nice and tall. Exhale, we're turning from our lower abdomen towards our left side, dropping our right hand to the outside of our left leg, taking that left hand all the way around the body. And then we'll find a gentle twist as we start to open the shoulders towards our left. And we can look over our left shoulder. Now with our inhale, we'll move back towards center, sending the arms up towards the ceiling. And with our exhale, we'll find a twist towards our right, dropping the left hand towards the right leg and the right hand behind the body. We'll start to open the chest towards the right as we look over our right shoulder. With our inhale, we'll come back through center, reach the arms up. Now this time we may find a gentle baby back bend. by sliding the eyes up the wall in front of us, lifting the chest. And then coming back to our more neutral placement, we'll drop the hands down towards our knees, and we're going to find some cat-cows with our breath. With an inhale, we'll shift the chest forward, lift it up towards the sky, maybe even take the eyes up towards the ceiling. With our exhale, we'll press the spine back as we drop the chin to the chest. Now moving back and forth with the breath. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to curl in. And we'll continue this back and forth a few times. And with our next inhale, we'll come back to our nice tall seated position. Now we can bring the hands to our rib cage, or we can keep them down, but we're going to be thinking ribs. We're going to find some circles here, just using the upper body and the middle of the spine. So it's not going to be a whole lot of a movement. We're pressing down through the legs, through the sit bones. And we can move as quickly or as slowly as you'd like, as we're finding that mind-body connection. Thinking of moving just from the upper section of the spine, of the body. And then we'll switch directions and circle the other way around. Coming back through center. Now we can drop our hands to our hips. And we're going to make some larger circles, this time moving from the lower spine, from the hips, all the way around. We'll shift forward, move out towards our side, back, out to our other side, all the way around. Now really pressing down through the sit bones to keep us stable here in this pose, in this movement. And again, we'll switch directions and circle the other way around. And we'll come back to our center again. Wiggling out through the body to reset. We'll drop our left hand down beside us, either to the floor or holding onto the side of our chair. And we'll reach our right hand up and over the body, and we'll find a side bend. So we're pressing into our right hip and reaching long through our right fingertips. Now we'll focus our breath into this right side here to help us deepen the stretch. Fully focusing on filling that right lung with air and letting it go. And with our next in-breath, we'll reach up towards the ceiling. Again, optional baby back bend. Lifting the chest, lifting the eyes. Exhale to bring the body back towards neutral. We'll drop our right hand down and reach our left hand up and over. So again, pressing down through our left hip, our left sit bones. So we have this long line of energy out through our fingertips. We're really reaching with that left hand. And then we'll bring our breath into this left side body to help us deepen the stretch. With our in-breath, we'll lift back up towards ceiling. Optional baby back bend. Exhale to come forward again. Now we're going to do our side stretches on each side, this time moving with our breath. With our exhale, we'll drop our left hand down, reach over towards our left with our right. Inhale up through center. Drop the right, bring the left up and over. Inhale to lift. Exhale to fold to the side, reach. And we'll continue side to side. And then we'll lift back up through center, drop the hands down to the knees, and we'll wiggle everything out to reset. From here, we'll move to our butterfly pose. So if we're seated on a surface that allows us the space to put the feet out in front of the body, that is great. We can do so. Bring the bottoms of the feet together at a distance that feels comfortable to you and your body. We'll press the knees down towards the floor as we sit up tall, pressing into the sit bones and rocking the hips forward. Now, if we're seated in a chair, that does not allow us the space to comfortably or safely do our butterfly pose like this. That's okay. There are other options. We can bring our feet together out in front of us, directly in front, and we can let the knees fall away from each other. Maybe sitting a little closer to the front edge of the chair will give you enough space to do a similar butterfly pose while seated up. And if that's not comfortable to you today, we have another option. That is one-legged butterfly pose. We'll drop one foot down to the earth, planting it. We'll bring our other leg up on top, so we're finding more of a figure 8 shape. And we can gently press down on one knee for a little while. And then we'll switch out our legs, bringing the other leg on top and gently pressing that knee down. All are great options, but whichever option we choose, we'll sit up nice and tall. We can give a slight flutter to the knees, a little rocking side to side. Or if we're doing our one-legged option, we can find a little press down and then lift up, press down and lift up. We'll find a little movement in whichever option we're in. Good. Now we can bring the knees back together and come back to a more comfortable, easy seat in your body. We'll bring the hands back behind us, either holding onto our chair or placing the palms down to the earth and then walking them a little further back. From here, we will lift the chest, rotate the shoulders in and back, and send the eyes up the wall in front of us. Now, like we were doing in our side stretch, we're going to take really big, deep breaths in, fully filling the lungs with air, allowing our full lungs to deepen our stretch. Before we let go of the breath and start fresh with a new breath in. Inhale, fully fill the lungs. Exhale to let it go. We'll do one more big breath in and out here. and start to walk the hands back in to sit us up nice and tall. Now we'll do a little bit of strength for our back, our hips, and our core. If we are seated down, we can extend the legs fully out in front of the body. If we are seated in a chair, we're just going to shift a little further forward so our back is not touching the back of the chair. We'll sit up nice and tall, and we'll reach our arms towards the ceiling. Now, if our legs are out in front of us, we want our hip flexors engaged. So we'll reach the toes up, draw the kneecaps in. Again, reaching those hands up towards the sky, and we're going to focus on our posture here. At the end of each exhale, we'll reset, we'll reach a little higher. We'll take a little bit deeper of a breath in and let it go. Each time rechecking that posture, shifting the chest forward, reaching the arms up. If you're noticing that you're squishing your ears in here or your face is feeling a little claustrophobic, reach your arms out towards a Y instead of straight up. That'll allow the shoulders to soften away from the ears a little further. We can even rotate the shoulders back and down the spine by taking the palms up towards the ceiling. Noticing in this pose, areas that we are strong and areas that we can be soft. So in this pose, we're being strong through our back, through our hip flexors, through the tops of our legs if they are out in front of us. So maybe an area that you want to soften is your face. Letting the skin around your eyes, your nose to relax out towards your ears. Maybe adding more of a space between your upper and lower teeth to relax the jaw. Maybe instead you'd like to soften the shoulders by bringing the hands to the shoulders instead of having them up towards the ceiling. And with our exhale, we'll drop the hands down and wiggle everything out to reset. We'll bring the legs in a little bit closer. We can have the hands back behind us. Or if we're seated up, we'll shift a little further forward on our chair. And we're going to windshield wiper our legs side to side, dropping both knees down in one direction. We'll lift them up through center and then drop them down in the other direction. Now moving side to side at a pace that feels right to you and your body today. This can also be done by laying flat on your back. If you would like a little more of a twisting motion through the spine in this pose. We'll lift the legs back up towards the ceiling. And one final strength-building posture. There are two different options depending on how you are seated today. We can come into our boat pose if we are on a surface that allows us to do so. Now, if you are seated in a chair, we'll find a different option. But for this boat pose, we can keep our big toes down. We can bring our shins parallel to the floor, or we can extend the legs fully out. But we have our chest shifted back, so we can engage through the core, pulling our ribs and hip bones a little bit closer together, reaching long with the top of the head. And we can hold here. Or we can find some tippy tappies, dropping our toes down. Now, if we are seated in an upright chair, we'll find a similar but slightly different option so we don't fall off of our chair. We'll hold onto the edges of our chair, shift a little forward to the front of the seat, and we'll lift one leg up off the mat, off the ground, set it down, and lift the other. So we're finding more of a marching motion if we're seated upright, but it still allows us to engage through our center, lifting tall through the top of the head and marching the feet back and forth, setting one down fully before lifting the other. And whichever option we're in, we'll come back to a more neutral place, a more comfortable seat. We can move back to our easy seat. We can lay down fully on our mats, or we can shift our back to meet the back of our chair. We'll come back to a little bit of quiet and breath work to help all of that goodness really soak in and to give ourselves a peace and quiet space, moment before we move on with the rest of our day. Sitting up tall through the spine, we'll close the eyes, dropping the shoulders a little further away from the ears, letting the muscles of the face soften. Maybe wiggling our lower jaw side to side to release out some tension in the neck, in the jaw. And then we'll bring our thoughts back to our breath. For the next little while, we'll have our exhales be a little longer than our inhales. We can do so by just noticing how it feels in the body, to fully let that breath go until there's no breath left before we start fresh with a new breath in. Or we can bring our thoughts to a count, breathing in for a count of 3 or 4, breathing out for a count of 6 or 8, and then starting fresh with a new breath in. And we'll bring another large breath in through the nose. To fully let that breath go again as we invite some movement back into the body. We can wiggle the fingers. We can wiggle the toes. Sitting up just a little bit taller. We can bring hands to heart center or keep them where they are. We'll bring one last large breath in through the nose. And let it go as a big open mouth sigh. Thank you so very much for joining me today. It is always such a joy and an honor to get to spend this time with you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Go in love, go in light, go in peace, and go in joy. Now, if you have made it all the way through this practice, leave me a duck emoji down below so I know that you watched all the way through. You can also leave me a comment down there telling me your favorite part of this practice, or if there is a specific pose that you've been working on lately. I would love to hear from you. Be sure that you hit that like and subscribe button so you can see more of my videos like this one. And if you would like to support me further, follow the links down below to check out my social media and my Patreon page. Thank you.